All right, we're live. Chat, I'm going to share with you something today that may shock you. I have a lot of qualities in life. I have, when I go to write a resume, and it's like write three qualities that you have. I can't because three is too little. Like I need to write a list. But unfortunately, despite all of my qualities, I also have some flaws. One of the flaws is that I hate dogs. I genuinely do. I tried my best not to, but I do. I despise dogs. Probably it's due to the fact that I was bitten by one when I was a kid. But I don't like them. I like cats though. Cats are great. Dogs, not so much. Now, don't get me wrong. Just because I don't like dogs, that doesn't mean that I go out of my way to be antagonistic towards them or anything like that. It's just I don't like them near me. All right. Many people can't respect that. Like they don't understand. But it's not that difficult. Just keep the dog away from me. It's simple, right? Now I moved into this neighborhood in the beginning. And you gotta understand something about my country. People have a mental derangement when it comes to stray dogs. And every year, almost like clockwork, stray dogs murder. Yes, like they murder. They maul to death a person, sometimes even a child in my country, and it gets on the news. And once it gets on the news, people go like, what I fear the most is the backlash against the stray dogs. It's kind of like that. I just want you to understand, the streets look like this in some places, and this is due to communism, believe it or not. It's like, do you think about all the time, all the fucking time? The great dear leader decided to forcefully move the people from the rural area into the cities in order to boost the industry. So all the people that moved in the city, they left their pets behind, including their dogs, right? Because they couldn't take them to their new apartments. So the dogs, they bred and bred and then came into the cities. And now you actually have a problem. Now the problem would be easy to fix, right? Like if you call the Germans, like the Germans have fixed their dog problems. They don't have feral dogs on the street. It's not that we don't have money to fix the issue. It's not that we don't have countries in Europe that fixed their feral dog problem. It's just that you have these types of individuals that freak out every single time, even a legislation is being proposed. So like you have all this legislation to protect dogs. Everything in Romania revolves around the canine. It's the holy animal. Like India has the cow, we have the feral dogs, and you're not allowed. Well, obviously, you're not allowed to hurt one in any way, shape, or form, even if it's on your property or not. No, you're not allowed to take one and send it away. So, like for instance, if I had a dog next to my house and I put him in a car and I drive him away. Like, it's not my dog, it's a feral dog, right? It belongs on the streets. But I'm like, I don't want it to belong on my streets, and I take him away. That's a crime. You can't do that, right? So you can't take the dog away. You can't hurt the dog. So you just need to allow it to go into your property, to do all sorts of damage. You just have to put up with it. Now, at least I don't feed them. If you don't feed them, they go away, right? It's not rocket science. But one of my neighbors, in their infinite wisdom, they enjoyed a small black dog. Small black dog came here. Now they didn't want to adopt it as a pet, because I would have no problem with that. You make a canine house, you put the dog in the house, and you feed it, and you take care of it. I have no problem with that. Like that's the normal way, right? But no, they wanted the dog to belong to the streets, right? So they didn't want to take care of it, but they did want to feed it. So the dog starts causing all sorts of problems. It destroys the lawn of certain neighbors, starts shitting up everywhere. And I went and I told them, this is a female dog. Like, I actually like animals. I do. But not in the sense that I like to pet them. No, I like to study their behavior, their psychology, their breeds. I like to read all sorts of things. Yeah? And I go, this is a female dog. Right now, it hasn't gotten through puberty. By the end of winter, it will. When it goes through puberty, it will go in heat. When it goes in heat, it will attract more dogs. Heaven forbid if it gets pregnant. It will start spawning. It will multiply. The entire neighborhood is going to be invaded. They didn't listen. They thought that I'm just talking crazy. Look how cute she is. Look, they didn't even want to fix her, right? They didn't want to spay her. Now, yesterday there were 15 dogs in the neighborhood. They came for the bitch and hit. Now everyone is like panicking because we have kids. We have kids. My daughter is 3 years old. My daughter is 3 years old, and the dog was barking at her. They were surrounding her, and I'm like, yeah, they're animals. They're feral. I warned you. The fuck do you want me to do now? It was easy to fix the problem when I talked about it. But again, like people that have the mental derangement syndrome, unironically, to fix the dog problem, these people should be arrested. Every single fucking one of them. The ones that foam at the mouth on Facebook when you talk ill of arrested. You know, like hate speech laws, but for these people, they're the ones that are making the problem worse. They're the only reason. Why are you feeding them? Why? If you like them, take them into your fucking house. If you keep them as a pet, I don't have a problem. If it's your pet, it's your responsibility. But they don't want responsibility. This is what pisses me off. They don't want responsibility. They don't want accountability. They just want to feed the dog. Pet dogs are fine. I have nothing against pet dogs. Very nice video. Like, pet dogs, completely fine. If it's your pet, you put it on a leash. It's your responsibility. I trust that you are a decent citizen not to allow it to sick other people. Guard dogs, perfectly fine if it's on your property and someone jumps over the fence and the dog mauls them. I don't give a shit. Why did they jump over the fence? But other than that, the idea, like, it's a dog on the street. It's feral, right? So it has no massa. It has no massa and you're feeding it. I have nothing against feral cats. Like, feral cats, leave me the fuck alone. I've never been attacked by a cat. If the cat has rabies, then that's a different situation. But, like, cats don't do anything wrong. They kill mice. They're good. If someone adopts a wild dog in any way, they can be fine. No, here not. It's not. And by the way, they're not wild dogs. They're stray dogs, right? So, like, they just don't have a massa. But then, like, some of them are fine. If you actually go next to it, you can pet it and shit. Some of them are aggressive. Like the thing with dogs, this is their psychology, okay? Most dogs, they're kind of like the boys in the hood, right? So the boys in the hood, they know who's in the hood, and they usually allow the people from the hood, they leave them alone. But the thing is, like when dogs form packs, and this is usually at nighttime, right? Like, this is their hunting instinct. They form packs. And when they make a pack and they walk the streets in packs, it's enough for a single dog to bark at you. If a single dog barks at you, then all the others, they attack. And they start barking, and they surround you. And it can get dangerous from there, based on how you react. Like, basically, the way you need to react is to slowly back away. Try to make sure that you're not turning around and running, because that triggers them. Right? If it's winter and it gets really nasty, like the dogs are upon you, just take off your jacket, wrap it around your arm, use it to hold them at bay if it gets that bad. Like, there are ways that you can defend it, but like, why do we even have to go there as a civilized nation? Why is it that I have to live the same way that Og the caveman fucking lived? Tell the dogs to chill, or they'll be sent to China. They don't listen. What kind of idiot lets a pit bull off a leash when it clearly has a chase instinct? I don't know. But at least if the idiot lets the pit bull off a leash, you can sue him. It was his responsibility to keep him on a leash. Cats smell? No fucking way. The only thing that smells from cats is cat piss when it marks its territory, but like, a cat does not smell compared to a dog. A cat actually smells nice. It's part of their hunting instinct to smell, so that the prey doesn't realize that the cat is there. The dog doesn't act that way. The dog forms packs in order to hunt. In fact, the smell is part of their hunting tactic. Like, they have a couple of dogs that go upwind, and the smell comes there, it scares the prey into the other dogs that are waiting downhill. It's... Cats do smell like honey, yes. I used to carry a large stick everywhere I go because of the neighbor's dogs running loose in the neighborhood. It's so fucking annoying, man. So fucking annoying. And there's nothing I can do to teach the neighbors a lesson. Literally. And it's not even that. Like, I don't want to hurt the dog because it's not its fault, right? Like, the dog is doing dog things. Like, it's not going out of its way to annoy me. But I am aware that when there's going to be packs of dogs running around the neighborhood, children are going to be in danger. Especially kids at the age of 2, 3, right? Like, for the dog, it's almost like a prey animal. It's small, it's tiny. And kids don't know what to do. They run away, they cry. And by the way, like, some kids may actually antagonize the dog, because kids are kids. You may tell them not to do it, but they do it fucking anyway. And then when the kid gets bitten, it's like, Hi V, hope you are well. Not a cat guy, sorry. Dog is better than a cat. Well, keep the dog on a leash and make it your pet, and I have nothing to complain. But the problem is when you have dogs that are on the streets and they attack people. You know, the only good thing they do, no, ironically, I take it back. The only good thing dogs do is that they attack people on a bicycle. There have been less bicyclists since we have dogs here. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing. I generally cannot decide which is the individual I dislike more, the vegan or the bicyclist. Probably the vegan bicyclist is like the ultimate form. No, actually, hold on. No, the ultimate form. Yeah, if you put a vegan on a bicycle, it's like the Goku transformation shit, and it turns into a video game journalist. Like that is the epitome of most disliked type of people on Earth. Sol Dio, a member for 2 years. Jesus Christ, 2 years of me. Holy shit. I commented on your other stream, and you should touch on this. Executives of trusted safety teams are usually there to facilitate their active to CP, CCAM, and censoring the right is just a bonus. I don't think it works that way. I don't think it works that way because they don't actually get to see the picture. You know, I actually wondered about this. Like the people from Twitter and Facebook, right? Do they have to watch illegal pictures, right? Because in order to moderate, in order to take something down, you think that you have to watch it, right? No, they don't. They actually have like every single picture has like a cache, from what I understand, like a file that's like a number, and if it matches, then the video gets taken down. And apparently that is being released by the authorities. So like the FBI gives a list of files and caches and shit. At least that's how I think. I genuinely don't know. Like, because the thing is, right? Think about it this way. There is no way that you can watch CP, right? It's illegal in all forms. But how do the people at Facebook, Twitter, Discord moderate it? Like how do they go around doing that? You think they have to watch it? And apparently they may use AI. It's my understanding. I get the stray dog, but Labrador best for sporting. It is true, yes. I'm only 4 months away from 2 years of buyer's remorse. Are you remorseful, though? Are you remorseful? The FBI has all the PDF file. Well, theoretically, like, yes, there is a job that someone has that they have to actually watch it so that they can decide if that picture is worthy of prosecution or not. So, yes. Like, I guess the FBI is in the United States that does that. There is a person that is paid by the government to go watch that shit. That is most certainly not how it works. But how does it work? Because it's illegal to watch it. Even if a journalist has it, like if, for instance, the reason I even brought this up was when Hunter Biden was accused of having on his laptop pictures of underage kids, right? Now I was thinking, if anyone does have those pictures, like how would they go around? Because it's a matter of public interest, right? So how would they go around showing it to the press? How would they go around, right? And I don't think you can legally. Like, legally speaking, I do not think there is a way that if you were to have pictures of a famous politician or one of their relatives engaging with a minor, I don't know the legal proceedings that you would get those pictures to the journalists. I think it's illegal, right? Because like in any form that you have them and you want to show it, you can't. You cannot. So I think like only if you have the original laptop and you can claim, well, it's not mine, it's his. Do you think that the AI PDF identifiers recognize this anime? I have no clue. It depends how you said it. But yeah, probably. I'm pretty sure it was his own underage cousin. I don't know. The thing is, I saw the fact checkers that Snopes debunking. It was like on the front page. It's like Hunter Biden accused of having on his laptop indecent pictures. Debunked. And I'm like, well, if it's debunked, I mean, holy shit. They must have looked at it, huh? Like, how could you... Like, in order to debunk, don't you have to see the picture and the claim? I don't know how they did it, but it's interesting. Just possession of such images is enough. Doesn't matter if it's not yours. Yeah, but like if you're a computer repair guy, right? So like you're repairing laptops, and someone gives you a laptop with such images, and you send that laptop to the authorities, I think that's legal. I think that's allowed. I may not be sure though. Like maybe it's still a crime. I don't know how it works. There was a person from the FBI on the Patrick Bet David podcast, and he was a guy that had to look at those pictures. He mentioned one involving a 9-month-old. Jesus fucking Christ. No, I you know, like many things I could do. Like I could do when it comes about watching pictures. I pretty much have no problem with most shit. I can watch the worst horror movies. I can watch the most bizarre fetishes. It's fine. It's pictures, right? But that like having a job like that, no, I would not be able to do it. I don't think you could pay me any sum of money. It would break my sanity. I would just not be able to. I would just no. And I understand it's a service to the community because someone has to flag those pictures and get the people involved arrested. Like, it is required, but no. Anyway. You anonymously spread those images everywhere, to every news source. Yeah, like anonymously, I think you can, yeah. But I was talking, like, from a legal perspective, right? Like, how would you do it the legal way without being anonymous? And even the journalists can get in trouble, so there's that. I think like there was a case, actually. There was a case where a publication, they were documenting war crimes committed, I think it was in Iraq or something. And they were basically saying that the soldiers, like they had evidence of the soldiers engaging with minors. And they had like video footage and everything. So they got in legal trouble because of that, despite the fact that they were journalists and the story was of public interest. Anyway, it takes a certain kind of desensitized individual to last very long. I don't even know like how you convince someone to do that. Like even if even if it's someone that is like, okay, I want to be a Facebook moderator. You know, like I want to watch whatever videos you guys want me, and I'll say if they break the TOS or not. But when they come up with that stuff, it's like, Jesus. Because like most people probably, especially in the government, right? Like they just want a job at the FBI. They don't know exactly what they will work at. And they're probably just assigned. I think you must have a rotation of people. It's like, right? Like you have like someone watching it for a couple of weeks and then you get someone else. I think that would be one way to do it. Because if you get a person to constantly watch them, Jesus. Anyway, right? I don't even know how we came about talking about this subject. I've done some work where I've had to watch some footage of gruesome events, and I've had some of my coworkers break down. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the era of the internet, when there was absolutely no censorship. So on the internet, you could send literally everything. You know, like if you watch One Man, One Jar, yeah? Like that was... And the thing is, like, people would send grotesque videos to one another for shocking content. You know, it's like you're sending a link and you're clicking it, and it's a guy that shoots his head, you know? And it's like... It looks disturbing, it's disgusting, and the other person would laugh because you clicked it. And I saw like all sorts of things, like people getting hit in car crashes, bulldozers. I remember like there was this picture of a cop which got sliced in half by a tran, and he was still alive and he was begging for help and shit. But like none of that compares to like I wouldn't even imagine. No. Like, anyway, right? Let's change the topic. Anna Kasparian. Anna Kasparian is upset with left-leaning policies, I suppose you could call them that, which I made a video. It basically leads to this.
Dismembering a corpse and hiding a corpse after dismembering it. Not bail eligible. Not a serious crime. I'm not even kidding, guys. Like when Joy Behar outlined that case, I was like, she's crazy. This isn't a thing. This isn't real. This isn't real. So I looked it up. It's real, guys. It's real. Listen.
She's like me in 2016. Literally, she's having the awakening. I assume she's going to come up with a cartoon avatar or something and start making YouTube videos anonymously.
Being on the left means supporting this, then I'm not on the left, and I'm okay with that. So let me give you the details of the case.
It doesn't mean that.
Okay.
It literally means that. And I will tell you why it means that and how you can tell it. You have many people on the right that are dissenting voices. You know, like almost every single right-wing figure is going to be criticized by other right-wingers. There's almost no exception to this. You know, name me the figure, Ben Shapiro. Oh my God. Like you can just see the level of criticism coming from the right towards him. Tucker Carlson, there's people criticizing him. Steven Crowder, the same. On the left, meanwhile, especially if you say the most batshit, fringe, crazy, radical takes, no one criticizes you. Like, how many leftists criticize AOC? Seriously, like go into her comment sections and see how many people on the left, not right-wingers, because you have right-wingers criticizing, but how many people on the left criticize AOC? How many people on the left criticize the Young Turks? I'm sure there are some, but they're not very vocal, right? So when Anna criticizes this thing, we're going to watch and see that there's people making streams attacking her for criticizing it. And this is why the left is batshit crazy, is because it has no market of ideas. It does not get challenged. And if you want to be an edgy leftist, you have to be more left. You're using the same principles and you're taking it a step further. To the point like when I first heard dismantle the police, I was like, what the fuck are these people? They're like, because you can see the consequences. You can see the consequences even before it happens. But no, they unironically wanted to dismantle the police. And I'm like, did the cartel hire you? Like, how the fuck? So anyway, why is this a leftist policy, right? Because like criminals exist everywhere. People hiding crimes exist everywhere. I'm pretty sure if you look into the history of America, there must have been other people that, you know, they try to hide the murder by chopping off the body part. Like this is not specific. But what is specific is being allowed without bail. So like the person that is clearly a danger to society. Like you cannot find a better example than a danger to society than this guy, and is being allowed to walk, right? So this is specific. This is very American and left wing. So how does it arrive to that? Well, the left mindset is that America is an inherently flawed country. It's like it's evil by the core. By default, it is evil, right? Because it's the original sin. It was founded on racism. So therefore, America is evil. And it's still systemically racist. Like they believe, leftist academics, they believe that there is a grand conspiracy in the United States that all white people are partaking in. And without even talking to another, they inherently know, like they're born with this knowledge, that they need to work together in order to oppress minorities, right? And due to that, if America is systemically racist, then the systems are racist. So the police is racist, the judges are racist, everything is racist. And you can't debunk that. Like, there is no evidence that they will accept that this is not the case. So because of that, every single time they see a criminal, especially one coming from a minority, they will say that the reason he is a criminal is because of poverty. And because society has failed them. So they will always make this assumption. Like, there is no way to dismantle this. Like this is like the grand mastery of stereotyping. You know, at least a person that's like a racist on the right. And he stereotypes all black people. And it's like, he's racist, right? Like, he's part of the KKK Democrats or something. And he's just like 100% racist. And he stereotypes all black people. But like, when he sees a black person that doesn't fit the stereotype, he will say, well, yeah, I guess this one isn't. But like, all the others are, you know? The left doesn't do that. The left goes like, unironically, hashtag all. Under no circumstance, no exception, no nothing. Every single criminal does crime because of poverty. Or because society has failed them, right? So, with this logic, you then justify, okay, well, if that's the case, then why not just let them out on bail? Why not dismantle the cops? And then they start passing more and more laws that favor criminals. To the point where you actually have this case that shocked even Ana Kasparian. And this is not the only case. Not the only one. There's many other cases. There was like another person that drove, I think it was like 150 miles per hour in a city, just completely obliterated another person, also let out on bail. Like, the cases are now piling up because like people voted for these judges. Sorry, these people supported the politicians, the judges, the prosecutors. They supported the system. And now they're reaping the rewards. And the thing is, I still think with Ana is the same. She likes the ideology, but she hates the consequences. Like, because I saw her on the Young Turks. Like, she was also, oh, fuck the police evil, blah, blah, blah. You know, oh, this poor criminal. Look what happened. Poor criminal. CGR, what I find interesting is discovering what it takes to cause leftists to wake up. What crazy even tends to act as the last straw for them. When it starts affecting them. Ana Kasparian, from my knowledge, started being against environmentalism when it started affecting her. So, she had like the first segment where she actually started being against leftism when there was a law passed in her place that gas stoves should be dismantled, right? So basically now she has to throw away her gas stove and make her apartment fit for an electric stove. And I can tell you this from my personal experience, it's not easy to do. Like, if you have an old apartment, let's say you have something that you inherited from your folks, or something that was built with a gas stove in mind, you need to complete, like, you need to tear down the walls, change all of the electrical wiring, make it so that I don't really know how to explain it, but basically you need to make sure that the electric panel allows for such a consumption, because like when the houses were built here in Romania back in the day, most people had like a television, a refrigerator, and that's it. Like, those were the electronics and the lights, right? So lights, refrigerator, and television. That's it, right? But now you have still the television, the refrigerator, and the lights, but you now have a washing machine. You have your electric stove. You have an induction stove. You got all of these other gadgets that didn't exist before. Your computer, right? Like your gaming rig. And if you put them all together in an old house, it just pops. Like, it's too high consumption. So the entire electrical wiring for the house needs to be rethinked in order for this to work, right? And it costs a lot of money. And it's also costs a lot of time. Like, you're going to have the entire team just tear down your house, tear down and everything, do the wiring again, then stitch it back up. Like, it's very expensive, time consuming, and Ana didn't like it. Ana didn't like it because the government didn't give her money, so that, you know, it is what it is. Hello, Zephyr. Welcome to the show. Electric doesn't work as well for cooking and heating. I'm actually happy with my electric, so I do have like an induction stove, because like when I got this house, I made sure that everything is electric. It actually works pretty well. Induction stove works great. I'm not upset about it, and the electric stove also works great. The only problem that I have though is the bill. It is expensive. It is expensive, but it is what it is, you know. I grew up so poor we had an outhouse. Me too. I know, because I had to go and put lime and sulfur around it to keep the snakes away. See, I didn't have to do that though. Not once did I think about stealing because of my socioeconomic background. No, I mean, this is already discussed, right? The idea that Americans are stealing because they're poor is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Americans, even the poor ones, and they refuse to believe this, but like, Americans don't know how rich they are compared to the rest of the world. Even compared to Europe. And I'm not talking about like I'm talking purchasing power. Like, the very fact that you can clothe yourself and have a roof over your head is a lot more than a lot of other humans can accomplish. And then when you look at, okay, all the amenities and all of the stuff that Americans get, even the ones in the ghettos, they live much better than the rest of the world. That doesn't mean that just because, you know, you live better than others, you shouldn't complain. I mean, of course, every person wants to improve their life. But the idea, it's like, okay, so because you're poor, you steal, then the entire world should be filled with criminals. Like every other country. I mean, imagine, you know, like the people in Moldavia, which is east of Romania, a very poor nation. I mean, there even the rich people aren't as wealthy as the Americans from the ghettos. Everyone should be a criminal then. Like, everyone should steal, everyone, right? But it doesn't work that way. Sulfur snakes, it's a good way for a ban. Country Moldavia, it's called, yeah. It's a country. Depends on the voltage. Most of Europe is 240 volts, so cookers work fine. Same with heating, though. Gas or oil is cheaper still. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be. Like, it got up before, after the war in Ukraine. But when I made the house, it was like, oh, well, they're pushing for green electricity, and I'm sure, like, they're going to start finding people for using gas, and it's going to try their best in order to make life difficult for people that have gas. Like, this is what I predicted. So might as well, you know, just make it electric. And it turns out that I did make it electric, and then the war with Ukraine happened, and the electricity went sky high. Rural Americans are much more poorer than city people. That is, you know what? That is a great argument, right? So, like, if poverty causes crime, why is crime higher in the city than the rural areas? Shouldn't it be the other way around? Shouldn't it be like rural Americans should be the most hardened criminals? Has society not failed the Amish? I mean, the Amish are poor as fuck, aren't they? If you look at the Amish, they're not very wealthy. That is because they're not trying to be. Like, it's not their goal to be wealthy. But shouldn't they be like hardened criminals? Anyway, right. So let's see Anna Kasparian getting criticized for what she said. Which, by the way, like, I didn't even think it is possible to criticize that. I mean, she was horrified that this guy committed such a crime that the justice system didn't take it seriously. And now you have Anna right-wing propaganda.
We might be able to start with was a little bit of discourse surrounding the Young Turks, our favorite platform to do a little bit of a dunk fest on. So let's take over here.
I do not know who these people are, by the way. I have no idea. Anna posted to them.
IME tweeted this out this morning. Who are the lunatic activists pushing bail reform? Are they referring to every defense organization and criminal justice expert in the city? These two uninformed, propaganda-spewing talking heads insist on trying to denigrate progressive reform they know absolutely.
I love the fact, like, you slap the word progressive and it makes it good, right? You know, cancer can progress. That's not necessarily a good thing.
Absolutely nothing about. Woo! Big swing from Ole. Love to see it. But do you have any commentary before we play a little bit of this embarrassing?
There is no justification, just so you know. Like, I'm a bigot in this case. Hashtag not all. There is absolutely no justification why a person that murdered someone else and then chops off the body should be free. There is no... You can't make it. Like, there is no philosophy, no justification, no ideology that can explain why that person should continue living on next to law-abiding citizens. He is a danger to society. You can make the justification that he shouldn't go to prison, but then he should go to a madhouse. One of the two. We used to do that, by the way. Like we still do it in Romania. The idea is that people who commit crime are separated into two categories: people who know what they are doing and people who don't know what they are doing. The ones that don't know what they are doing are also separated into two categories: children and adults. If you're an adult and you don't know what you're doing, you're mentally insane. If you're mentally insane, it would be cruel and unjust to punish them by sending them to prison, because they don't know what they're doing. But they still need to be separated from the law-abiding citizens, because they're still a danger. So they go to the madhouse, to Arkham Asylum. But they still need to be separated. You cannot allow someone with this type of mindset to be in civilized society.
Embarrassing propaganda from Cenk
I
Uygur.
mean, it's more of what we expect at this point from TYT when it comes to subject matter like bail reform. It's so clear that they've both just bought into the kind of tough on crime hysteria.
There is no such a thing as buying on tough on crime hysteria. Like we saw it with El Salvador. We saw it with other nations. America used to have the same problem in New York. Okay? Until you had Rudy Giuliani. It's very simple. It's not rocket science. You're tough on crime, you get less crime. You're soft on crime, you get more crime. Everything else is justification. Everything else is talking points. It doesn't matter. But it's very simple. Do you want crime? Then you're soft on crime. If the criminal is a victim, then society becomes a victim. That's it. And by the way, like I'm looking at these people. Is he an expert in crime? Is this like the type of person that lives in the hood and understands what it's like? To like how criminals think, how criminal... Because I did live like that. I did live in an impoverished area, and I actually do know how criminals think. And I did went to law school, I went to the prisons, I talked to criminals. Do you think like this person talks to criminals? I'm generally curious. Unlikely. Maybe he does, or she, I don't know. But like, it would be interesting to find out.
Which is unfortunate, but yeah, at this point, kind of more of the same. Let's take a listen to that, because it is pretty crazy.
Into Republicans. Congratulations, lunatic activists. You must be so proud. I don't know where the hell you got all that money, but whoever gave you that money, I don't think they're on our side at all. In fact, it would be a genius.
This man voted for a billionaire real estate developer in the mayoral race of Los Angeles.
Move by Republicans to take a bunch of lunatic activists, fund them to no end, so they could take away any semblance of sanity in our criminal laws, so that the entire country can blame Democrats for this kind of...
I mean, was it the Democrats that were chanting defund the police until they realized it's very unpopular and then they backtracked?
Insanity.
Insanity. It's insanity. It's insanity. You know what it is, Gavin? You know what's really crazy about all these lunatic activists? All the insanity. It's insanity. Oh, man. These Democrats and all their insanity. These left-wing people. This is the Progressive News Network, by the way. Indistinguishable from Fox News on this issue, I might add.
There are certain things that are called common sense, where even the left and the right shouldn't disagree. Like if I was saying, yeah, you need to feed people because else they're starving to death. This is not a left-wing or a right-wing issue. Like, no, this is reality, right? So like when Cenk is saying it's not okay for a criminal that did this to be allowed to walk away, it's not a right-wing or a left-wing issue. It's a normal versus an insane issue. Yeah, even people on the left would agree with Cenk. And I'm willing to bet if you make a survey on the left, you would probably get over 90% saying, yeah, no, this is...
You might as well. The insanity is you sound like Sean Hannity when you talk about this issue, if we want to do a little bit of antiquated humor here. Completely ridiculous. The fact of the matter is that there's so one, he lives in California, right? So he doesn't know anything about what he's talking about, absolutely at all, about New York.
I'm curious if they're going to get to the point. Like, it's been 2 minutes and they're just like mocking and laughing at Cenk as if someone that just tuned in is supposed to understand what they're talking about. What does it matter if you live in California, Zimbabwe, or New York? There is no excuse for this.
New York City. But let's even give him the charitable, interpretation. Let's talk about Los Angeles crime and let's talk about crime rates in California. Hey, Cenk, do you know how fucking expensive it is to pay rent in California? Do you know how?
What the fuck does that have to do with this? What does that have to do with this? And do you know why it's expensive to pay rent in California? Well, I'm probably going to get some common explanation, so whatever.
Fucking expensive it is to buy a house? Do you know how expensive it is to eat food? Do you know how expensive it is to put gas in your car? Sure.
Do you know what supply and demand means? I guess it's those insurmountable birth rates from California. It's like people there, they just decided to outfuck the boomers. And there's just so many people in California that everything just got expensive. The demand is incredibly high that the supply just can't keep up. Is this what happened? Every single Californian has like 25 kids. The population just skyrocketed. All of a sudden, it's just like boom. And that's why everything is so expensive. To be honest, then there's also other reasons, like the housing associations. That is a cancer, a blight, I would say. Especially the liberal ones. It's like, oh, if only the poor would have a place to live. And then you start building some affordable housing, and they go like, not in my backyard. I voted Democrat, but I just wanted the ideology. I didn't want you to actually fucking do it. Not in my backyard. Do it somewhere else. So those are part of the problem as well. But yeah, it's the explosive growth, the massive birth rates that we witnessed in California, as well as other issues like the housing associations. And then you also have like other regulations and other bullshit. I mean, China basically wants to make the automobile industry in Mexico so that they don't have to deal with the leftist bullshit in the United States, right? The taxes, the benefits that you give to the workers and all of that. Yeah, well, that spooks people away. So they're just going to build it in Mexico and they'll ship them over. But that's just the automobile industry. Every single industry is going to do that. Right? So when they do that, you get less supply. But the demand grows. Well, there you go.
Sure, you kind of...
And not to mention, right? Like I'm looking at New York. Recent case. Talking about rent. Rent is expensive. Horrible. Okay. Case in New York. A woman finds squatters in her house. Her house. She kicks them out. She gets arrested. Her house. Now, when you see something like that, if you have two houses, will you rent yours? Are you that mentally deficient? Are you that fucking retarded to rent your house when you see that? No, you hoard it. You sit on it, and then you watch all the leftists cope and fucking seethe as the rent goes up. Because there's less supply. Like, if you have 5 people and 4 houses, they're willing to pay for more so that they're the ones that get the fucking house, right? Leftists and economics, oh my fucking god.
Kind of objectively know. You're like, yeah, I mean, shit gets more expensive. I'm pissed. I don't have, better stock gains this year, all kinds of, but in the lived reality, you're so far divorced from that. Your day-to-day life doesn't depend on how much your last check was for. You know what I mean? Oh, I had a...
Are they genuinely implying that it's because of poverty? Like everything that I spoke up until now, is this what they're doing? They're basically saying, well, you don't understand crime because you don't get how poor people are. And it's like, no, what you say right now about poverty in the US is what Jon Stewart and Colbert were discussing on their shows over 10 years ago. Shame they changed. Well, they just got different talking points. I don't think they changed. I think if you talk with them in private, outside of the camera, they make sense. I think like they're reasonable people, but like in front of the camera, like it's almost like they're paid actors. That's what you do in show business in America. You read from a prompt. You read the script. It's amazing how bad it has to get for people to start realize that conservatives were right all along. I don't think like they don't know that conservatives were right all along. I just think like, well, you can't be seen as agreeing with a conservative. Because if you're seen as agreeing with a conservative, then you're as bad as them, and then you get ostracized.
A good month versus a bad month. You've kind of divorced yourself from the paycheck to paycheck mindset, which is great for you. But when you take
another shit with the paycheck to paycheck mindset, I really hate this expression. I hate it so fucking much, that I genuinely do, because it's true, but it's not necessarily bad. Like I see on TikTok, I see young women that are single that make a video from a BMW while drinking their Starbucks and complaining that they're living paycheck to paycheck. Give me a fucking break. And I'm sure they are. I'm sure they have mortgage on the house and they're paying that BMW as well. But who made you buy them? Who forces you to buy those things? You know, when I didn't afford anything, I was living with my parents because I was fucking poor. My wife got married. Like, we have 2 incomes now. Like, all of this shit, oh, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I'm an American. I'm an American and I don't know how poor I am. Like, so therefore, I must commit the crime, huh? Is that what they're getting at?
Take a look around at the rest of California. The reason why people are resorting to theft, the reason why...
No, fuck. They have not a single thought of their own. They're just parroting the principles. Like, when I said this, I haven't watched their stream. Like, everything I've said before is knowing how the left thinks and what their principles are. Yeah, like, in other words, the reason they murdered that person and chopped off and then is because they're poor. So because they're poor, we have to now give them bail. Let them out without bail. It's ridiculous. Like, by this logic, I should be poor as well. Then I can do whatever the fuck I want. By the way, can poor businesses do whatever they want? Does it work that way? Like, if you're a business, like, let's apply this to the public sector, right? Like, let's apply this to businesses. You know, there are some wealthy businesses out there, like BlackRock and Vanguard, and then there are poor businesses, like the mom and pop shops. Should the mom and pop shops just abuse their employees and scam them out of money and scam them out of pay because they're poor businesses? What do you expect them to do? You know, can they try to avoid paying taxes? Because they're poor businesses. Well, what do you expect? You know, society has failed them because BlackRock exists. Like, fucking, I don't get this argument, chat. I genuinely think this is the most dumb stuff that you can say. As a libertarian, says American Outlier, I'm not pro-cop. But I got sense not to say all cops are bastards or pig in a blanket. Fry them like bacon. Thanks to BLM and Nancy Pelosi. Thank you, George Floyd, for your sacrifice for this bill. Hope chat. Remember, she said that. Yeah, she actually did said. She did said, like, thank you, George Floyd, for your sacrifice. I remember, like, it outraged a lot of people on the internet when she said that. But, I still, like, I'm watching it and I can't believe it. And the only time these people will understand is when it happens to them. In their backyard. When it happens in their backyard, that's when they start caring. We hear the same arguments in South Africa. You'll have people say that colonialism turned them into criminals. Yeah, but, like, you gotta understand, okay? The way it works, no person views themselves as the baddie. Like, very few people view themselves as bad. So people have to justify in their mind everything they do. Like if they hurt someone, they justify it by saying, well, they deserved it. When I bully Rags in Dungeons and Dragons, I justify it as he fucking deserves it. Like, that is always the justification, right? So you can't say, well, I'm stealing because I'm a sociopath or I'm a person that's against the norms of society. No, like, you gotta justify it. I'm stealing because I'm poor. And you have people, you know, wearing Nikes and you look at them and they have iPhones and shit and they still steal. How do you justify that? The difference between Kasparian and Owens is that Kasparian is friends with Uyghur. Owen and Shapiro were never friends. Ben Shapiro does not look like he has a lot of friends. I generally don't know what's happening with behind the scenes with Owen and Shapiro. But it is disgusting to see that your job, no matter what you do, is always going to be measured about the opinions you have on Twitter. So you can be like the best surgeon, you can be the best engineer, you can send shuttles on comets. If you do not have the correct opinions on Twitter, they will fire your ass.
People are, committing crimes just because they're not able to have their basic needs met. And then you have...
And he doesn't know this guy. He doesn't know the case. He genuinely doesn't know if this guy did not have his needs met. Like, he can actually be potentially a drug pin. And he can have millions of dollars in Mexican banks. He doesn't know, but he will assume that the only reason this happened is because he lives in New York and he is poor. And it was like the only acceptable thing to do was to commit crime.
People like Anna, who we'll get to later on in this clip, she's tweeting shit out of like the most lowbrow fucking, conservative clickbait.
Oh yeah, because you don't need to be highbrow to say not having crime is a good thing. By the way, crime actually lowers the economy. It's difficult to have businesses in crime-ridden areas. I mean, this is why Detroit. This is why Detroit, the first thing that left were the businesses. And once the businesses left, the crime, it's a circle that feeds itself, basically.
About a woman that stole $8 million worth of shit from like Ulta or whatever. And she's like, oh, this woman wouldn't have done this if only we'd given her, a bigger social safety net and shit. It's just, it makes me so crazy. But anyway, we'll let them keep digging their own grave.
So
So since
imagine watching this and thinking that the Young Turks, by having common sense, are digging their own grave. Like, imagine hearing about a case where a person was murdered and the criminals chopped off the body in order to hide the evidence, and then the criminal was arrested and then let out of jail without bond, and Anna is bewildered by this. Imagine thinking that this is them digging a grave. So they would expect the opposite. Like in a normal world, Anna would praise the progressive reform in New York City. She would be in favor. She would be like, yeah, no, good prosecution, very good.
New York is unwilling to reform its bail reform laws.
Anna, that's the problem. The reform, the fact that they reformed it is the issue. It's like they were good before.
New Yorkers, enjoy your random bag checks by National Guard troops in the subway system.
if you
Who on the left wants that? Gavin, do you want?
Oh my fucking god. These people cannot answer the simple question: if you didn't have breakfast last morning, how would you feel? They genuinely they don't understand. They go like defund the cops, allow people to walk out with no bail, no trial, just let them go. No one wants soldiers in the subway. I guess they want crime in the subway then, and they would say they don't want that either. I don't even know, like when you have such a person, how do you have a conversation with them? Like if they genuinely do not understand cause and effect, like if the concept is so far out, if they just cannot grasp that your decisions can have different impacts on reality than you expect. How do you even tackle that subject? How do you even... Like imagine if you have a landlord back in medieval Europe, and the landlord goes like, I want everything. All the grain, all the food. And then people are like, but we're starving. I don't want you to starve, but you're taking our food. Yeah, but I don't want you to starve. I just want more for myself. It's like having a person that generally doesn't understand, like, the things that he is doing are impacting the world. And then the peasants are revolting. And it's like, well, I don't understand. Why are they revolting? It's like, because they're hungry. But like, I didn't want them to be hungry. But you took all their food away. Yeah, but like... God.
That?
Nope.
Do you support bail reform?
Yup.
Checkmate.
can't reform this law instantly, then the government doesn't function. I mean, if a guy who commits 239 crimes is allowed to walk out, the government doesn't function. It doesn't.
Our government has done way more than 239 crimes. Check.
Another one. Oh my fucking god. Okay, so if the government is corrupt, then everyone should be right. So because the government did more than 295 crimes, then I guess you want all your neighbors, all the people around you that live in your neighborhood, to also start committing at least 295 crimes. Is it okay if they do it against you, or that would make you upset? If they do it in your backyard? Because that's the thing, right? Like, obviously, when the government commits crimes, the people are abhorred and they demand justice, right? But just because the government commits crimes, that doesn't mean that people want to live in neighborhoods with criminals. I don't even know. Like, this is... The interesting thing is that I know how the leftists think, but seeing them in the natural habitat, actually thinking and having these conversations is so bizarre. It's unreal. It's like, how can they justify this? No, it's not what about this. I mean, it is what aboutism, but it's like, okay, imagine you're a police officer, right? And you stop a guy from jaywalking. And the guy that goes jaywalking is like, well, why are you stopping me for? You shouldn't do anything. Like, there's people that are speeding, and you're not stopping them. So you let the guy jaywalking go, right? And then you catch the person that's speeding, and it's like, well, why are you stopping me for? I'm just speeding with 20 miles per hour over the limit. There are people that are speeding 50 miles per hour over the limit. Why aren't you stopping them? And then you're like, you let them go, and you catch someone that speeds 50 miles per hour. It's like, well, why are you stopping me for? There are people that actually... commit car crashes and they run into pedestrians. Why don't you stop them? So you're like, okay, you let the guy who goes 50 miles per hour walk away, and then you catch someone that actually ran over someone, and they're like, well, I didn't drink anything, it was an accident. There are people that drive while intoxicated and they kill people. Why don't you stop them? So like, everyone will have a fucking justification just because like someone else does something worse, and then you don't punish anyone, right? These people should go to Canada where they'll be happy. It would be fun if they're already in Canada. Oh my God.
Mate,
Serve its core purpose, protect the citizens.
our government does not protect us.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it depends where you're at, right? But no, I can't argue with this. I mean, I saw a woman in New York which had squatters in her house, and she got arrested. And it's true, yeah, your government doesn't protect you, which is what Cenk is saying. That's the problem. I'm glad you agree. Yes, the government does not protect you. It's not only that, but like, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment is in question. Right? Like, normally, if the government doesn't protect you, then let me protect myself. That's fine. I don't need anyone. Let me protect. No. Oh, okay. I see. I mean, we saw this during the riots, right? Like you had, let's say, a business. Okay, so if someone wants to go into your business and loot shit, then you can't do anything. The police doesn't come there, doesn't do anything. You can't defend it. So just allow people to loot, right? While you stay home and stay safe. Don't catch COVID.
Not at all.
That's not a left-wing thing. That's not a
If they
right-wing
did
thing.
protect
That's
the
an
citizens,
every
they wouldn't have
person.
to be like robbing fucking Ultas and shit to make ends meet.
Yeah, well then, fuck the lady that robbed Ulta.
I just want to point this out, right? In California, they passed a law in San Francisco that if you steal $900 worth of goods, it's a misdemeanor, and the cops, they can't chase you. Like, if the cop catches you on the spot, that's fine, but like, if you're running away, they can't chase you. So there were criminals that talked to fencers, and they were like, okay, well, what exactly should we take? And they got a list. It's like, take the shampoo, take this and that, the baby powder, the milk, blah, blah, blah. And then you sell it off, and they, by hitting multiple stores, that's like 900 per store. I want to point out that in Romania, the medium wage when this was happening was $500. Right? So you're telling me those people are poor. They're making like they're stealing $900 worth of goods, and they're poor. That is the monthly wage of a Romanian worker that toils 8 to 10 hours a day, and then gets home. And by the way, out of those money, he also has to pay taxes. And you're telling me that, oh well, it's because they're poor they're doing this. Motherfucker, the crime rate in my country should be astonishing. Like, it should be unthinkable.
So maybe she was a kleptomaniac. That doesn't justify the fucking, prison industrial complex.
Right.
And the fact that we have the highest incarceration rate per capita of any country in the world. Yes, that includes Cuba. Yes, that includes China.
But do you have the highest crime rate per capita in other countries? I don't know. But like, you gotta say, well, are those incarcerations for good reason or not? It's a worthwhile conversation, by the way. I do think like some crimes in America are exaggerated. Like, for example, smoking marijuana. Like, come on. You're going to put someone in prison for that? They're doing it in my country as well. I don't agree with it. But still, are they justified or not? I would say in the case where a person hacks someone in order to hide the body, I would say it's justified. You're saying it's not. Interesting.
Okay, that includes the Ruskies.
Thing. And if you like anarchy and nonstop
Yeah, now we're talking. James cook and let him cook.
criminals running rampant in the streets and being able to commit almost any crime and walk out.
Wow, any crime and walk out. The Purge. That sounds base, bro. I'm signing up. I'm moving to New York City. They finally sold me.
They must have loved
You're
that
not
scene in
on the
The thing is, I genuinely think that the issue is twofold. Number one, they do not think that these types of crimes can happen to them. I assume that they live in safe neighborhoods and safe areas, maybe gated community. They think that it can't happen to them, right? And the second thing, they don't realize the economic impact that crime has. They genuinely think, okay, well, they're stealing from Target, and Target has like hundreds of millions of dollars, so it's fine. And they don't realize that, well, Target is going to look at each individual store and is going to say, how much is the store earning? And when they see that the store is on minus, there is no justification you can have to keep that store open. Like, Target is not a charity. They will not keep a store open in your area just because, like, it wants to do a public service to the community. Like, it wants to do that as long as it also makes money. So when that store closes down, then you have, like, all of these progressives writing about food deserts. It's like, well, you can't find food anywhere because all the stores are closed and you have to drive 100 miles in order to find the nearest food store. And then it's also low employment. Like all those places were hiring people from within the communities and now they're gone, right? So you're supporting crime, even if it doesn't happen to you. And then you're like, what the fuck? Why are all these greedy corporations, they're conspiring and they're shutting down all of their stores? But the Supreme Court ruled that the cops don't need to protect you. Why do they think though? Yeah, this is like a bizarre ruling that the Supreme Court gave. If the cops don't need to protect you, then why do you pay taxes for the cops? But the thing is though, the very nature, okay, like this is what we learned in law school. There are two ways to prevent crime. The active way and the passive way. The active way is to stop the criminal while they're committing the crime. Or to catch the criminal after they committed, right? This is difficult. It's difficult because every single time, like, the police is not there, the criminal has the advantage because he's there before the cops, right? So the best way to stop crime is the passive way. Is to instill into the mind of the public that crime doesn't pay. Like, this used to be everywhere when I grew up, right? Like in the 90s when crime was actually lower. It was everywhere. It's like the long arm of the law. Crime doesn't pay. Like all these ideas to instill fear into the mind of the criminal. Why do you have police patrols? Like you have the police going around in their police car, like patrolling the area. It's to remind criminals, like, hey, we exist. Don't fuck around because you're going to find out. Now, in that society, there are people who would want to commit crime, but they're thinking, well, if I do it, I get caught. If I get caught, I get punished, right? Now, what message are you sending when you have someone that murdered someone and they're let out the next day? Well, you're going to send the message to people that even aren't murderers. They're like, okay, so if I commit crime, even if I get caught, I get let out. Oh, okay, well, at $500 a month, you guys should be doing Second Amendment stuff. Holy crap. Well, the prices are cheaper, right? Because you have Tucker Carlson going to Russia and being like, oh, well, the supermarket is so cheap here. It's like, yeah, it's the purchasing power. Now Romania, by the way, is not, it used to be, but it's not the the poorest country in Europe, right? So we're starting to get that. I think we're actually more rich than Portugal now. But the idea remains that if people here don't have as much and they don't commit as much crime. We do have crime, by the way. Every country has crime. Yeah, sure, you know, we do have our own gangsters and our stuff. Like, if someone commits something what Anna said, they will get imprisoned. There's no debate about it. There's no one. And the thing is, the difference in culture is that there is not a single person that would try to justify what they did. Anyway, right. I'll probably end it here. What? Boog? Boog is here? No, I don't think Boog is here. I'll end it here because I need to make the videos for my other channel and also play some Nike. And I'll see you guys. I got some really fun stuff coming on my Lack of Entertainment channel, so hopefully I'll see you there.